Hello, this is Dr. Mears. Today we're going to be doing review for the formative. Some of you had difficulty with this, so I thought I may help you through it just by actually doing it out with you. So let's go. The first question asks for slope-intercept form, and a lot of you had questions with this. So we're going to do our RRA, where we read, reread, and then annotate. So the first thing, what is slope-intercept form? So I read it. Let's reread it. What is slope-intercept form? And now annotate. Notice that I underlined the word form. This is actually the equation. So I just want you to write the equation of slope-intercept form. And this is how we're going to annotate. We're going to pick one word to underline and then write down the definition or a picture or a formula. So I actually wrote form, what a definition of form could be, and that is an equation. So let's write that down. That's y equals mx plus b, and I'm sure we're going to be using this. Number 2, write the equation in slope-intercept form. Now I just read it. Let me reread it one more time. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. Let's annotate. I'm going to underline this slope-intercept form. I'm going to do a little arrow and put y equals mx plus b again. So that's how we annotate. I chose a couple words and I put down what it meant, and I didn't have to write out a full definition. I just wrote out what the actual equation was, y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to have to take these two tables here and I'm going to have to write an equation. So let's tackle the first one. The first one, we have our input, which is our x, as -2, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Notice we are increasing. The first thing that I'm going to have to do is find the difference, 0 minus -2, and that's going to be plus 2. 2 minus 0, that again is plus 2. 4 minus 2, plus 2. And we don't have to keep going because this looks like it's going to stay consistent. And if you notice, we are increasing by 2 as we go down. Let's look at the y's, or outputs. 8, 5, 2, -1, -4, -7. We are decreasing because we're going down towards the negatives. So 5 minus 8 gives us a -3. 2 minus 5 gives us a -3. -1 minus 2 gives us a -3. Again, it's staying consistent. So I'm going to have a slope. And remember, our slope is the change in y over the change in x. So our slope, or m, is going to be -3 because that was the change in y, divided by +2 because that is the change in x. So here we have our m. So in our equation, we have y equals -3 over 2x. Now we have to find our plus b. Our b is going to be the value when x is 0 of y. So we have to go and find where x is 0. X is 0 here. I don't need that. I do need the y value. The y value is a +5, so it's going to turn out to be plus 5. So here's my slope-intercept form. Y equals -3/2 x plus 5. Part B. Another table. Let's look at our input, which is our x values, -18, -15, -12, -9, -6, -3. We are increasing. Let's see what we're increasing by. I believe we're going up by 3. -15 minus -18 is +3. -12 minus 15 again. -15 is +3. So here we're increasing by 3. Let's look at our outputs, which is our y values. 1, 6, 11, 16, 21, 26. We're increasing here too. We're increasing by 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. So our slope, which is our change in y over the change of x, here's our y change, 5, divided by, here's our x change, 3. Now we have to find our b. Our b is when we locate where x is 0. So let's look. Here, I don't have a 0, so we're going to have to find it. So if you notice, -18, -15, -12, -9, -6, each time we're adding 3. So let's keep adding 3. If we add 3 to -3, look where we get. We get 0. So we actually have to add one more onto this table. My change in my y's were plus 5. So let's keep adding plus 5. 26 plus 5 is going to give us 31. So here is where my x is 0, my y is +31. Now I can write down my equation, y equals mx plus b. Y equals 5/3 x plus 31. And there are my two equations. Next, number 3. Write the slope-intercept form of each line. I read it. Let's reread it one more time. Write the slope-intercept form of each line. I'm going to underline slope-intercept form and write y equals mx plus b. There's my annotate. So I read, I reread, and I annotated. So for part A, let's do together. It's not in table form anymore. It's in a line on a graph. So we're going to have to locate the same things though. We have to locate our slope. We have to locate our y-intercept. I'm going to do the easier of the two first. I'm going to locate our y-intercept. Our y-intercept is really where the line, this line, crosses the y-axis, which is this axis. So this is our y-axis, and it crosses right here. So let's look to see where that point is. It's at -1, -2. So it's at 0, -2. So our b is that -2. Now, if you notice, there's another point located here. I can use that to get to my slope. Remember, slope is the change in y, so we have to go up 1 plus 1. And then the change in x, so we have to go right 1, 2, 3, 4. We have our slope of 1/4. Our b is -2. So we need to put this in slope-intercept form, so y equals mx plus b. So y equals, our slope was 1/4, 1/4, x. And our b is -2, so that becomes now -2. And so this is our answer. Put in our slope, put in our y-intercept. Now we have slope-intercept form. Let's look at part B. Part B, if you notice, there's not 2 points on here. So let's pick 2 points. Here's the first point, and that is actually going to be my B, where this line crosses the y-axis. And I can pick another point. I could pick another point over here on the line, or I could pick another point down here. When you pick your point, you have to make sure that this line intersects one of the boxes in the corners. So right here looks like a good spot where this line intersects one of the boxes at its corner. Do you see that right here? I'll make it a little bit bigger. So I'm looking at these 2 points. Now that I have my 2 points, I can find my slope and I can find my y-intercept. Let's do y-intercept first. Let's see where this line crosses the y-axis, which is this one. And it crosses at +1, +2. So the point where it crosses is 0, 2. So my b is going to be a +2 because it's positive. Now from here, let's go and see how to get here because that will be my slope. So remember, it's going to be rise and run, which is a change in y. So let's see how many I have to count. I'm actually going to be going down now. 1, -1, -2, -3. And the reason why I said negative is because negative means down. And now I'm going to be going to the right. I'm going to be going to the right 1. And it's +1 because remember, right is positive. So here's my slope, -3/1. Here's my y-intercept, +2. Let's put it in slope-intercept form. Y equals my slope, which is -3. And you could put -3/1. I'm going to actually write it twice for you. -3/1x plus 2 because my b was +2. Now you can leave it like that. That's absolutely fine. Or we can simplify it, which just makes it look a little bit more professional. Y equals, we can divide this out. Because this is -3 can be divided by 1, and it comes out to actually -3x plus 2. So we can divide it out. This is your simplified answer. Now this one is different than the one we did before. We can't divide 1/4. That would be 0.25. So I don't want decimals. So if you can't divide it out, you leave it as your fraction. This one, -3 divided by 1, we can divide it out. It's not going to be a decimal. And I did. I simplified it. So that's the difference. So if it's a fraction and you can't simplify, don't. If you can, keep going because it looks nice and professional once you get it down to that simple number. I hope this helped. Coming up next is your formative. If you have questions, please review, rewind, redo, and then raise your hand and ask me. Hope it helped. This is Dr. Mears' review for your formative on writing equations in slope-intercept form. Thank you.